All right, looks like we're live. What's up, everybody? What's going on? So I'm gonna give it a minute for things to kind of kick in, and I'm actually gonna be first addressing one person who's been actively commenting on the videos and live streams, and I guess I'm gonna explain it all in its entirety. What up, Jane? What's going on? I'm gonna explain it all in its entirety. So, Stringer News One, I'm gonna address you directly. I figured that on the live stream and me speaking is much better than you know much better than typing out a long paragraph of all the things that's going on. All right. Um, I'm gonna actually read his comments and then respond to them. And hopefully this clears it up for him or her in that context. So let me just pull up comments here. I should be able to see them. And happy National Women's Day. I just got notified from Google. So which one is it? I believe it's this one. How you guys doing today? Those coming in. I really wish they would just make it easier to find all the comments. Oh, here we go. I got them here. Yeah. Not too happy about it. Most certainly, I don't want anyone's information being taken by people. So it's just kind of strange. All right. So before I get into the whole Boost Infinite help is coming, I'm gonna address Stringer News One. We had a back and forth conversation this morning, and there's just a lot here. So I'm gonna read his comment, his or her comment. I'm gonna read their comment, and I'm gonna respond. Some of it may have been stuff that I've already responded as a comment, but I'm just gonna completely go over. A lot of breaches happening lately. They just attacking these wireless companies. Yeah, wireless, not just only wireless carriers. I mean, that's the ones that like. Of course, I'm gonna know about because I read up on these things. I make content about mobile technology, so obviously, but there's other companies that's being attacked that are not in the wireless industry, and we don't see a lot of publications talking about it unless it's like Fox Business and those types of publications talking about it. Well, let me address this person. So about 5 hours ago, the comment came in from Stringer News One. They write, I just checked my credit card website. Although I was supposed to have been charged late last month, I was charged on the 2nd by Boost Infinite and then the 5th for Project Genesis. So this person uses Project Genesis, which is Dish's beta testing for their native 5G. And so then they go on to say, no drama, no hysterics, and no account suspensions. So why are other people being suspended? If it's for NSF, that has nothing to do with a cyber attack, does it? All right. So in a nutshell, because said person wants me to cut straight to it, it has everything to do with the cyber attack. You're talking about a group of people who basically took control of Dish's system. So we're talking their entire systems from Dish Network, Sling TV, Boost Infinite, Boost Mobile. All of it was compromised. It was expected to be ransomware, which means that they hijacked the systems, locked Dish out of it. And so Dish couldn't do anything. Those that worked for Boost Infinite, they couldn't get in there and fix people's accounts. Matter of fact, the phone lines were down. They're still down today. You have a Boost Infinite line, dial 611, and you're going to get that generic recording message that they are slowly working on restoring the system because they don't have access to it completely. So that's why the cyber attack has to do with those being suspended for non-payment, because the billing system was down. So auto payments weren't being drafted. As you stated, your auto payment wasn't taken until later. It was supposed to have been taken late, end of February, and ended up taking it beginning of March. So obviously, you know that the payment was taken out late. For those people whose bill was due on the 26th, on the 27th, they weren't able to make a payment. You couldn't go into a Boost Mobile store and make a payment. The billing systems was down because of the cyber attack. So those people who were getting notifications, like I showed yesterday on the live, that even I was already told, like, hey, you are going to be suspended for non-payment. Some people did make payments that were successfully taken out of their accounts, yet the system didn't catch up to post it. I was one of those people. That's what yesterday's live stream was about. I showed people that on my Boost Infinite app, I had the little message at the bottom. I was being suspended for non-payment, even though I clearly posted a payment on February 28th. But when you go to my history in the Boost Infinite app, you can look at your payment history, and it didn't have my payment posted on there. All these things relate back to the cyber attack. That's why I say it is. Now, I wasn't being sarcastic in my reply to your comment when I stated consider yourself lucky, because you had minimal impact from the cyber attack as far as your account. You weren't going to be suspended for non-payment. Your payments were drafted and they were taken and posted. Even though they were slightly late, they were still posted, so you didn't have to deal with it. But again, like, I'm not the gold standard for how everyone's experiences should be. So I treat everybody else's experience the same way. I don't set them as the gold standard for everybody else's experience. Because one person has a good experience doesn't mean that the other 50 that post a comment saying that their experience was bad or that they're upset, I don't want to wash theirs under the bridge. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the cyber attack relates to those people being suspended. They're not being suspended for no reason. It's not the customer's fault. We're not going to put it on people and say it's their fault. You didn't pay your bill. Like, how's someone supposed to pay their bill if the billing payment system is down? That's the question I'm going to ask right now. How is one to pay their bill when they can't call 611 to do it by phone? They couldn't get into the Boost Infinite app because it was down. And they couldn't go through Boost Infinite's social media channels to get things done. So where would that become somebody else's problem? Like, make it the customer's problem and not Boost Infinite's problem. So that's how it relates to the cyber attack. The cyber attack, we can't just try to wash it under the bridge. And, you know, when I brought up the whole thing about brand loyalty, wasn't necessarily saying like you are a brand loyalist. What I was saying is that, you know, there are people who do come to defenses of these companies, right? When T-Mobile is being broadcasted for having a data breach, a lot of T-Mobile fans come in and they want to like tear down someone who's talking about it. And in my opinion, like, you know, when we're talking about it, we're not talking about it to say, hate this company and leave. People are going to think what they want. Some people hate Boost Infinite because their experience was so bad with them, so they're going to leave. That's totally fine. I'm not going to go and say, hey, you guys are wrong for thinking that way. People can think how they want to think. That's my thing. But when you ask me, how does this relate to the cyber attack? That's how. Their systems was down. Nobody can make their payments. It's not that people didn't want to make their payments. They couldn't make their payments. Then you had those people who placed orders for new phones, orders for SIM cards that didn't get fulfilled. It didn't get sent. When systems are down, how is the shipments being sent out gonna be sent out? How they're gonna be tracked? How would they even know where to send the stuff to if the systems are down? They can't pull up orders. And I know this directly from working in a contact center. The systems may not be exactly the same because most of them are in-house built from these contact centers that work for these that are contracted to these companies. Some of them are not internal, right? Like I know Sprint didn't have contact centers that were Sprint. They at a time used Convergence, which is a global contact center company that contracts to handle their call volumes. Afterwards, Concentrix took over them. With Verizon outsourced, not like outsourced out of the United States, but they outsourced to a company called Sitel. Sitel is its own company. They are contracted to handle the call volumes in the contact center for Verizon. Convergence also had contracts with AT&T to do their their customer care, and then you even had Assurion, who's contracted by AT&T as the AT&T Pro Tech support. So when you talk and you get an AT&T Pro Tech support agent on the phone, they're not from AT&T, they're from Assurion, just to name a few things. So the systems may be different, but they all have one thing in common. When they go down, all of it is affected. Everything from orders, bill payments, features, like to add on features and stuff like that, and adding a line, disabling a line, porting out, all those things are affected. You can't do anything. So that's how people were affected. That's how the non-payment suspensions and stuff that was happening was due to the cyber attack. That's how. Now, when it comes to the point of like a month from now, anyone that's suspended for non-payment, obviously that's not really going to be related to the cyber attack because they are slowly, little by little, getting things back up and running. You hate outsourcing? I mean, the outsourcing creates jobs. And let me just re-clarify, the outsourcing I'm talking about is outsourcing here in America. I'm not talking about outsourcing to the Philippines, to India, which some of these companies have done that. They have done that, and to shed light on that for people who question that, why did they outsource to India? Why did they outsource? The number one reason why is let me put it in the best way. There are agents who, it's quick for them to be able to do things for family members. That was the number one reason why. Like, I'm not saying I would ever do it. I never have done this before. But let's say I worked at AT&T's contact center, which I have at one point in time, and my family has AT&T. There is a greater chance that I could go in there and apply credits to their account, go in there and apply a promotion that they shouldn't have. This was one of the biggest problems that all these companies faced, because being trustworthy, is the big issue there. That was one of the biggest issues of why it kind of pushed outsourcing outside of the US. Outsourcing is basically cheaper labor. Looser labor laws. It allows them to squeeze workers more. Actually, with let's say Verizon outsourcing its customer care to the company called Sitel, which is call center. It's not cheaper because they paid Verizon customer care reps very well at the time. In 2006, when I was working there, I was making $15.65 an hour. At that time, $15.65 is pretty decent compared to what minimum wage was. So they paid pretty good. It was just, it was good business, right? You had a company called Sitel, which was all about, hiring people to do call center work. And Verizon saying, okay, well, you guys are going to handle our customer care. You're going to handle our first point of contact with customers. Because Verizon did things a little bit different. Their retention department was in-house. So that was like at a Verizon call center owned by Verizon, not outsourced to another company like Sitel. So that was that. But like outsourcing outside of the country, I understand people's frustrations on that. At the same time, too, I don't really relate to that. Like when I hear people talk, bad about Filipinos, I can't relate because my family is Filipino. right? You can see my family up there. My stepmom's Filipino. My half brother and sister are Filipino. I'm Thai. I'm Thai Puerto Rican. So when it comes to like, saying like they can't understand stuff like that, like I get it. I'm not saying that everyone has to think like me. I never wish that anyone has to think exactly like me, but I just can't relate. Because I've been around Filipinos a lot of my years growing up. So their accents, their dialect, I can understand it because I've been around it for a long time. That doesn't mean that someone who just freshly speaks to someone from the Philippines is going to understand them over the phone. And no, they can't relate to you as far as feelings because they're trained in the Philippines to take care of business. They're not trained to empathize with you. Empathy is not something that's trained at the call centers over there. I know because with Sprint, we did outsource to the Philippines for customer care, and some of us got the pleasure of actually being sent over there to train them in our systems, to train them in our in what we do. So yeah. Anyways, I kind of went pretty long on that. So hopefully that answers Stringer News One's comment and explains how I was impacted. And I posted another video last night, which leads to the topic of this live stream, which is that help is on the way. Help is coming. Yesterday, when I did the live stream yesterday, and I showed you guys, that I was a bit concerned because a payment was taken, but it was never posted, and they were going to suspend my account. And I had posted this on Twitter, and Boost Infinite actually reached out to me through DM on Twitter, and I was like, okay. And they gave me this, we're sorry about the inconvenience, and just the little chicken dance type thing. I was like, okay, whatever. Like, they're thanking for being patient. Nothing can be done. Last night at about 8 p.m. my time, right? So this is Arizona time. About 8 p.m. last night, I get a DM from a rep from Boost Infinite on Twitter. They're like, hey, what seems to be going on? They asked me for my phone number. And if you look at the video I posted that shows the conversation on Twitter DM with them, I showed that so you guys can see it. Of course, I deleted some of the messages that had my phone number and my address on it. The address, I'll tell you guys why later, but so they asked for my phone number. I gave it to them. They looked into it. So apparently Boost Infinite systems are coming up, or they're already up. They're just not saying they're up because they're still looking for bugs, looking for issues within the system. But they decided like, okay, they were going to help me out. So I gave them my mobile number. They pulled up my account. I didn't have to do any verification, which I thought was funny, considering the fact that they were just recently, attacked and information was taken. I thought that maybe they would text me an OTP, a one-time passcode. But no, they just asked for my phone number. I gave it to them and they looked into it. And in this case, like, while I am concerned that an OTP wasn't sent out to me, it really, really didn't need to be because I wasn't making any changes. Like, I wasn't changing phones. I wasn't swapping SIM cards. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. I was just letting them look into what's going on because of the payment. And then I posted the screenshot from my bank app that showed the date and time that the payment was processed and taken. So they got all that information. And they were pretty cool about it. And because I already knew about what was going on, I told them, like, I already know about the cyber attack. I know what happened. I'm totally fine. Please take your time. Go through my account thoroughly. I'm patient. I can wait. I'll wait half an hour without a response. Like, don't worry about it. Just fix my account is what I want, right? That's what we want as customers, right? Don't worry about apologizing to me and telling me, okay, this is going to take a little bit of time. Just do your thing and I will chill as long as you fix my account. So they went in with everything that I gave them, and it was like 25, 30 minutes later, they were like, hey, we found the problem. We fixed it. Please open your Boost Infinite app, check and see if it still shows you that little notification that your account is being suspended. Let us know if it's still there or not. And so I opened the Boost Infinite app. I took a screenshot to show them the message was gone. So they fixed it. It no longer shows it. And that was through Twitter. So, of course, like I said, I'm going to update you guys on things that I find out, things that I'm able to do. And so I started, I posted that video to show people, like, on Twitter, they're able to help. So That would tell me like basically their social media accounts are little by little, taking customers and trying to fix as much problems as they can. Now, my situation wasn't as bad as a lot of people who were suspended for non-payment and couldn't make a payment, right? Because that's going to be a little bit different because I made my payment. So because I made my payment, they had something to go on to literally fix the situation for me. Those other people who are being suspended for non-payment are genuine non-payments because they couldn't make a payment. The system was down, right? So within all that, they got it pretty much fixed. And then I'm not sure why. I'm not going to say everyone's going to get the same treatment. I don't know why. But then they asked for my address and they're sending a gift to me, for this, what happened. And I'm not going to say it's anything extravagant. It could be some Boost Infinite stickers. Hopefully it's Boost Infinite stickers so I can put it on my laptop. Because I got it on my other laptop. I'm going to pull the laptop out and I'll show you guys. I collect stickers so I can put them on my laptop like this one. So this is my Windows laptop. As you see, you got Mobile X, Boost Infinite. Yeah, it's got pretty cool stuff. On my Pixel book that I live stream with, I got like, a couple of like DC characters and stuff like that. But I would love to have some Boost Infinite stickers to slap on there. But anyways, if it's that or a t-shirt, or if they send me another beanie or a hat, I don't care what it is. Like, the gift is not the most important part. The part that's the most important is the fact that they were able to fix my issue. So those people who did also get payments drafted out of their checking account, if you screenshot or take a picture of your bank statement that shows the date and time, reach out to them. Now I'm going to say, since Twitter was able to do it, then I'm thinking that their Facebook group, not my Facebook group that has to do with Boost Infinite, but their page, their official page through Facebook Messenger might be able to do the same thing. Because I'm thinking it's social media. They got people that handle the social media accounts. So yeah, I wanted to take to there pretty quickly. And then when I went in the Boost Infinite app and I clicked on the question mark to start a live chat, rather than it giving me that generic message talking about the systems being down, it gave me a message saying that their care rep teams are closed for the day, to try back tomorrow. So I said that live chat might work too as well. So you might want to try that. And shout outs to those people on the Facebook group who are reporting they've tried the live chat and it's not working for them. So I'm going to say most of you guys probably won't get a rep through live chat from the Infinite app. But from Twitter and from social media like Facebook, you may get a response and you may get some help. There's a likely better odds chance of getting some help now through them, because that's how I got my issue fixed. Right. I'm reading some of the comments right now to kind of catch up. With Dish going back on a supposed month of credit, etc., it's a bit of a surprise why did they reverse their decisions? Yeah, I mean that's the other thing that I was talking about the other day, that I understand why people are mad. Like, if I told you guys that I was going to pay your phone bill, right? Whatever phone company you're with, if I said here on a live stream and meant it, right? So this is just an example. I'm not saying I'm going to do this. But if I told you guys I was going to handle your phone bills for the next 2 months, and then your phone gets suspended for non-payment, you find out that I didn't pay any of your phone bills, right? Aren't you guys going to come over here and flame the hell out of me? Get in my comments on my live stream and call me a liar and tell me I'm full of it. Well, I'm full of shit. Let's just say it, because YouTube took back their policy on the whole profanity. So now they're not cutting people for the usage of colorful language, but just kind of keep it like a straight conversation, like we would if we were standing together on the streets, right? But you guys would call me full of shit. You would call me a liar. You would be pissed. That's the same concept. That's one of the questions that some people asked. They were like, where was this promised? Show me where on the website it was promised. I wasn't promised that my bill would be taken care of. But there are those people who by chance had some sort of contact with Boost Infinite and was told that they would get 1 month for the issue. They were told. Carlos S. Tech, who is the internal source at basically Dish Wireless, right? He goes and he tests out things for them to make sure that the Dish 5G, like the native 5G from Dish, is solid, right? He gets all internal emails, he gets all that stuff. He works for the company, and he's gone forward and told people like, hey, you guys got to go to a Boost Mobile store to get the credits applied to your account for your 1 month free. People were listening, people were doing it. And then those people that did it found out they didn't get the credit. Their lines got suspended for no payment. There's no credit to cover it. So yeah, people got pissed. But yeah, the world needs to understand digital warfare and attacks will be a new normal. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, these days we don't really have to fight in the battlefield physically with guns drawn and everything like that. Like, you can cripple a country through the digital world, right? Take out their currency, take out their ability to communicate with one another, take out each sector, and you leave a country defenseless. Pacific Islander people nicest in the world. Sometimes, not all of us are, but majority of us are. My second Boost Infinite line was suspended. My Boost Infinite on my iPhone 13 mini line stayed active. Yeah, and there's an inconsistency there. Hey, Coffee, what's going on? I'm a little surprised Verizon had data breach. Oh yeah, let's kind of get into that. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I have for Boost Infinite. You guys can try their social media and see if they can help. Even those people who've been waiting to port out, maybe they might be able to help you. I can't guarantee it, but you can give it a shot. If you're not able to DM them, because I don't know, sometimes Twitter accounts, both parties have to follow each other to DM. But if you can't, if it doesn't give you the option to send a message to them, just post on the Twitter. Just post a tweet, tag them in it. You don't have to get descriptive in your problem. Just let them know that you need their assistance, and they'll DM you, and then you can have your conversation, explain what you want done. And then for those, hopefully it helps out with what they need, especially even if they're porting. Now, of course, this came as a shocker that Verizon suffers a data breach. And this was published 2 days ago from Android Police. So, I'll copy this link and I'll post it in the chat. So let me drop my volume down so I'm not listening to myself on the live. But no, I didn't want to go on incognito. What are you talking about? I got ghost taps happening. All right, so I'm going to post it in the chat. All right, there we go. You guys should see it now. That's the link to the article that I'm reading this from. This is from Android Police, and it's talking about data breach exposes millions of Verizon customers' account info. So this is verbatim. When it comes to the telecom companies and consumer data breaches, you'll most likely have seen T-Mobile in the headlines way too many times in recent years. The self-titled Un-carrier has been attacked time and time again with disastrous results. But now the carrier and its customers won't be alone in victimhood this year. Newly released intelligence alleges millions, and keyword there, alleges, millions of Verizon subscribers have had their information leaked out into an open internet. The assessment comes from Safety Detectives, which picks up on Verizon database posted to an open forum this January. Entries contained with date between sometime of 2021 and January of 2022. The analysis indicates approximately 7.5 million wireless subscribers have had some data points exposed, including what kind of devices they had connected to the Verizon service, what rewards they were signed up for, and what auxiliary subscriptions services like Apple Music, Disney Plus, YouTube TV, Verizon Cloud they were signed up for. Each entry also contained hash obscured customer IDs, potentially using a SHA 256 key as the original forum post notes. The dump also contains customer ID hashes, first names, usage, speed metrics, router specifications, contract statuses of about 1.5 million home internet subscribers. Besides first names, it seems no unencrypted personally identifiable information has leaked. But the exposure of those hashes still represents a threat if the right key and keys are found. So Verizon gets to join the club. So we got T-Mobile, we got Boost Infinite, we got Verizon. And I'm not laughing to make fun of it like it's a joke. I'm laughing because, again, one of the things that I would say would kind of annoy me is brand loyalists. Those people that champion for the brand because they really love the services they're getting so much that they figure they got to go to war with people who talk about the negative sides. Like, look, everything in life has a balance. Okay, this is something that I firmly believe in, right? The yin yang is not just some cool logo to tattoo on your body or to get a phone case with it on it. Yin yang represents exactly what's needed, and I don't know if anyone's really noticed this. There's a reason why with the icon for yin yang, why it's not a perfectly straight line dividing the circle in two half circles, but it's an S curve that has one side, the bottom, majority and minimal on the top, majority on the top, on the right side, minimal at the bottom. Is because while you have to have balance. One cannot exist without the other. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be a perfect alignment. So, when you if, for example, you look at the day, right? Is the day actually divided by 12 hours? Do we have 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of darkness? No. We usually have about maybe 9 hours of sunlight and the rest darkness, or just depending on the time of the year, right? It's longer in the summer, it's longer days, shorter nights. In the winter, it's shorter days, longer nights, right? So light and darkness exists in our everyday, but it's not perfectly balanced where it's exactly at 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of darkness. Never like that. That's how it is. That's with anything, So basically, you can't go and trash another company and not expect the same thing to happen to your company. These things happen. They're gonna happen. Everything's done digitally, right? We're converting to a lot of things being digital, right? Like how you spend your money. Less people pay things with cash nowadays. They are quick to use debit cards. Credit cards have been around for a while, but debit cards are like yeah, people would swipe them, but now they've gotten so much better because you have debit cards with NFC tap to pay. So you just pull your card out and you tap it, right? If you don't want to pull your phone out and do tap to pay, you can pull your debit card and do it. Everything is going towards digital, right? Everything's being done online. Like the states are converting driver's licenses from physical cards to now having them on your phone. That's something that, would pop up your driver's license, little digital card looking thing. You tap on it, would open a QR code for a cop to scan it to check the status of your driver's license. Everything's going digital, right? So yeah, Magical Mermaid's correct. Like these things are, cyber attacks are going to be more and more frequent. Verizon's new prepaid, does that include total? So they didn't say if it does include the prepaids, but I'm gonna assume so, just because they're all on the same. Let's see. Oh, we got an update on this article. I didn't see that at the bottom, so let me read this. So this update was 2 days ago. So on March 6th, there's a statement from Verizon that was released. Richard J. Young, a spokesperson for Verizon, has told us the safety detectives piece refers to an issue the company already addressed back in January regarding another outside vendor that provided video guides for customer service questions, pointing us to an early article from the Cyber Express. The company never gave access to personal identifiable information such as social security numbers, addresses, or credit card numbers besides first names to the vendor. Verizon has since conducted a review of the vendor and has severed ties. Since then, there's been an effort to recirculate the issue and material as if it's new. Ah, Young goes on to say, the fact is that there's nothing new here. The bad actors' findings are being reposted, but it's all recirculated material. We've decided to keep this story up for transparency's sake on our part, but have changed the headline, which was originally titled Verizon Data Breach Exposes Millions of Customers' Account Data. So I guess this is not a new thing. They just recirculated an old thing that happened over a year ago and it's being brought back up, according to the spokesperson from them. So that was from Android Police. And again, the link is in the chat. You guys can click on it and read it for yourself. Let's see. Yeah, other than that, there's nothing new on that. So I guess that was what they were referencing to, because you had other companies like WebPro News that says Verizon's reportedly suffered a breach exposing 7.5 million customer records. Let's see. Yeah, they're talking about the same thing. Safety detective, cybersecurity team. So, okay, Verizon people, don't worry about it. If it was, it would. But an update in the article basically states this is not a new thing. This is referencing to the whole ransomware and cyber attack from 2022. So I don't know why. And see, this is why people got to be very careful on how quick they report. Right? Even myself, like content creators like myself, got to be careful on how we report things, right? So I wanted to read the article with you guys. That's why in my title I put question, because I'm not telling you guys that they are in fact 100% been attacked. We went through it together, right? They laid out the article. They gave an update. A Verizon rep gave a statement to Android Police, letting them know that this is not something new. This attack that they're referencing to is actually something from over a year ago. And it has to, all that has already been addressed. So Verizon people are okay. Now, if it was in the same scale or the same level of Dish, then I would say, yeah, if there was a cyber attack on Verizon and it was at the same scale of what happened to Dish, then yes, Total by Verizon, Visible, all those would be affected, right? Because with the Boost Infinite attack, they didn't specifically attack Boost Infinite. They attacked Dish Network as a total. So even TV subscribers from Dish Network or Sling TV were also affected. Yeah, and they got to learn from their mistakes, right? I mean, it's like how does a kid learn not to touch the stove with an open flame, right? The kid burns his finger, he knows never to touch the fire again. So I know like the way that they're handling it is not the best. Like we have expectations, we want things done like that. We want it done. No, I know what you meant, Gerald. But we want things done like that. That's the nature of us as humans, right? We don't want to sit and wait on things. We don't want them to implement things later on. We want it now. Humans have the J.G. Wentworth complex. I'm not disrespecting or dissing anybody. I'm just saying that's how we are. That's just how we are naturally. When I go into a restaurant, I want my food and I want it now. Of course, you have to order your food and you have to let them cook it and wait. But if I can have my way, it would be like the Jetsons. If I say, that I want the triple dipper sampler from Chili's, I expect the plate to drop on my table right in front of me so I can start eating because I'm hungry. Of course, I got to wait. That's how we are. And so while a lot of us express our frustrations, which is good, express your frustrations, get it out there. You don't want to bottle that stuff in. Um, you know, being that Dish is proactively working on it and little by little getting things back up, then yeah, I mean, if I find out more about it come next month when their center here opens and I'm working there, I'm not gonna tell you guys all the inside info, but I will let you guys know to what I can exactly what it was. And by then, there shouldn't be too much that's taboo, because at some point, Dish, Boost Infinite, Boost Mobile, they're gonna have to go forward and explain exactly what happened. I'll stick to Visible, even though I had my own problems as well. Okay. I don't know what the purpose of that thing was. No one's. This is not here to say, hey, you guys subscribe or sign up. That's like one of the things, okay? And I'm gonna sound like an asshole, and if I do, and you get mad and you don't like me afterwards, oh well. I'm gonna say it like this, but that's like one of the things that I see that is like kind of like the annoyance when it comes to like tech and stuff like that. Like, you can do a video, you could be talking about AT&T and them having a data breach, and someone's going to come in and say that I'll stick with what I have, but no one asked you. This is not an advertisement for people to go over there. I don't care if people sign up for Boost Infinite, for T-Mobile. I don't care what you choose. What you choose is your right to choose it. It's like a weird thing to just kind of throw over there. This is one of those statements that just really doesn't need to be said. I'm just saying that after this debacle, I mean, it's the same thing with like T-Mobile, right? Like, I have people tell me like, oh, I'll firmly stick with T-Mobile. And it's like, why? Just out of curiosity, because I always want to know what people do. I'm curious as to knowing people's mentality. It helps me understand how I should position things when I do videos or do live streams. And when people are like, oh well, this whole cyber attack from Boost Infinite means that they're not going to protect my stuff, I went back to T-Mobile. Well, T-Mobile's been hacked so many dang times, so, and your information was probably compromised. So where's the logic in it? I always challenge people on a logical scale. There are whole cities being breached right now in southern states. Yeah, with various different companies. I mean, cyber warfare. That's the era that we live in today. Cyber warfare. Everything is controlled nearly digitally. Did you guys even know, like, maybe your water systems in your cities is controlled by by a digital system? I've been happy with my accounts, fortunately. I was lucky to be minimally affected. There's a lot of people that was minimally affected. See, here's the thing. This is a rule that I live by. When people take to the internet to complain and bitch about things, it may seem like that there's a massive amount of people doing it. It may seem like there's like everybody's affected by it. You'd be surprised that it's very little compared to because like, if you don't have a problem, you're not going to take to social media to say anything because you're not having a problem. If you have a problem, you're going to take to social media to say things. That's the era that we live in today. We vocalize anything that's doing harm to us, or we just vocalize it through social media, through text and post. So, yeah. Identity theft is running rampant. Even Google Drive is being attacked. Yeah, because I get stuff in my Google Drive that has absolutely nothing to do with me. And they're I try to share this with content creators. I put them out there. Those videos don't pick up enough traction, and really I don't care. I put it out there to help people. But if other content creators don't take the time to listen, that's on them. But I've experienced where people have tried to hijack my YouTube channel, my Google account, and they'll do things saying like, oh, well, you have copyright in this packet here on Google Drive has what the copyright's for, which is ridiculous because anything that has to do with the copyright warning, strike, whatever, is all done through YouTube Studios. That's what I use to govern my entire YouTube. So if it's not there, I don't care what it is. Even through emails, they do it through emails and try to say, oh yeah, you have a copyright. Man, they even did and try to say that there was a copyright strike on one of my videos that had to do with my kids. And they're saying that the video content in there is not mine. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm in the video. dumbass. Whatever. So those things I just delete. I completely delete them. I don't even touch them, open them, or read them. If anything has to do with my YouTube channel, it's going to be through Studios. Studios directly is where I look at for anything that goes wrong, anything that I need to look at, anything that I need to adjust or change is all done through Studios. I don't ever really look at the Gmails and the Google Drive shares. And then I block those people's email addresses. The renting, I mean. I got you. Yeah, you did have it visible, but they eventually fixed it. Got you. Only come in handy had what? Oh my god, my eyes are so bad. Only come in handy had cat is AT&T. Yeah, Mike is in the building. Visible had an update over Verizon. Their 4G works better than Boost 5G on their new devices. Yeah. I guess that would depend, though. That would depend. Like, Verizon does really good over here. You know, AT&T has gotten better in the last 5 months here. But I would never say like AT&T is great because another place is like in one place doesn't mean that that's the experience for all places all over the country, right? These places have strongholds in different areas. Their demographics and where they focus at. Like here in my city, T-Mobile dominates all. But this was a Sprint market. This was one of the cities that Sprint had like amazing service at. And this always breeds the back and forth between people. Understand that wherever you are and whatever works good for you in your area is going to work good for you in your area, but you can't set that as the standard for every city and every rural town in America, right? It's just not that way. But if you were to say like, who is the most reliable, you have to give it to Verizon. They have built their network, I would say, better than how T-Mobile has built their network and how AT&T is building their network. That we know for sure. Because Verizon is really dependable. Even when they strip away the speed tests, because I've done it where like I would do a speed test on T-Mobile, I would get like 500 to 600 on the down and like 80 on the uplink, maybe a ping time of like 18 milliseconds. And then I would do Verizon and put it on LTE only, and it would give me like 86 on the downlink, about 40 on the uplink. Ping was like 34 milliseconds, right? But when I do things on my phone, it was more reliable on Verizon's LTE to get things done faster, load things faster than it was on T-Mobile. So network quality is the big thing to look at. The speed tests and all that other stuff, that gives you a baseline of like what you're getting. But that doesn't mean that because one has 500, one only does 80, that the 500 is always going to be better. No. The quality of transfer of data packet to and from point A to point B back to point A. That's what matters. We should be paid to use these networks. Hell, if you have property, like if you have a house and stuff like that, you could actually reach out to them to see if they want to build a tower on your property. You do get paid by these companies if you actually host your land for them to build and construct a tower. Yeah, I've seen people say that everywhere AT&T takes over a city's network towers, all other networks will lag or become cutoffs. You're right. I do host. Oh, so you know all the perks of having that on your property. Yeah, that's dope though. It's like solar. Yeah, that's nice. So that, and I'm sure that helps out, right? I mean, if I own property and there wasn't like a Verizon tower in this vicinity, I would let them construct a tower on my property so they can put a tower up. I mean, it just depends. It depends on a lot of things, you know. Um, You guys should know who Jake Pimento is. Um, it's real cool. He's a real cool person, and like I like the direction that he went because he used to just solely focus about like mobile phones, unboxing them and reviewing them, and then he stepped into talking about the telecom and even things that that he says is absolutely correct when it comes to these things. Like even if they build a tower, right? Like however they angle those panels up there on the tower is going to determine the quality of the connection, and it does make a difference. It's like satellite, how you position a satellite and everything will determine whether it's going to get the best or not. Very much sunshine, satellite heaven. Yeah, I'm just using the regular. So I'm on YouTube.com. So I'm using my Pixel Book. I don't have like microphones or anything. So the microphone and camera on the laptop is what I'm using, and then I'm using the website. So I'm not using Restream or anything like that. Like Restream, me using the Restream platform with T-Mobile Home Internet, for some reason it's so glitchy and audio cuts in and out and everything. And then doing it directly from YouTube's website is much smoother. So I just figure I just do it this way and talk this way. Just like sit on my bed, just open the laptop, start a live stream, and go. You know, not have to worry about all that other fancy stuff. It's when I do like the podcast is when I'll use Restream. Yeah, I mistook you because I like side hustle Mike. Like I don't know, for some reason I thought that was Mill Hustles, and like not starting drama or anything like that. Just Mill Hustles has a way of saying things, and so like sometimes like I just disagree with the way how he says things. So I mistook you for Mill Hustles. You gotta love Mill Hustles. He's very straight to the point. I think that's the reason why, like, I don't know if he knows it, but like my dynamic friendship with him is in that way. We're both straight shooters and no bullshitters. So um I always feel like that I can just directly say what I think, and he shouldn't get butthurt about it and get all dramatic because he's the same way. He'll tell you what's on his mind, whether it hurts your feelings or not, and it is what it is, type of thing. So, so I just realized I was looking back at the comms. I was like, side hustle, like not mill hustle. I was like, what the hell was I thinking? But yeah, but even then, like some people talk about it in that way. Like that's one of the things that um and this is for myself. I'm not saying all content creators feel this way, but I just feel like sometimes there's things that warrants to be said and some things that just make no sense to say, on things, right? But at the end of the day, at least I can say this for my channel. I would never want people to do to use what I use. Like I have a channel sponsor. I'm pretty sure they're pissed off at me because I haven't really made videos and put them as a sponsor of the video because I don't want to overly do it for one. Um, but yeah, Mint Mobile is one of the sponsors I have. I think I still have them unless they got mad at me for not doing a lot of sponsorship ads for them. Then they probably cut me from it, which is fine. But yeah, every now and then you'll see it, and you'll know when my video is going to mention the channel sponsor because you're gonna see it. You have to disclose it, right? But just because like I have a channel sponsor for Mint Mobile doesn't mean I'm gonna push Mint Mobile and try to get everyone to sign up for Mint Mobile using my link. My link is there for people to use to sign up for it. But I'm not gonna push people in that direction because I'm not the type of person to say I like this, so you got to like it too, or I use this, so you got to use it too. Like I'm always a backer of use whatever the hell you want to use, because at the end of the day, my only goal is like to share what I know, to learn from what you guys know, because I don't fucking know everything. Some of you guys know more things about a certain subject than I do, and I learned that from you guys by doing these live streams and having dialogue. Um, and yeah, and just knowing what people use out there. I need to buy another unlocked phone. What brand are you interested in looking at? Because you can try one. You can try OnePlus, like the OnePlus 11. And I'm seeing a lot of people loving that phone. Or you can try and see if you can get your hands on the Nothing phone. Try the Nothing phone out. See what the hype is. Or if you can get the Oppo Find Fold, I think is what it's called. The Oppo Find Fold, or the Oppo phone that looks like the Galaxy Flip. I hear that's a amazing phone too. I feel bad for the elderly victims because managing their technology can be difficult enough. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of, it was also the reason I bumped heads with Consumer Cellular a lot. Consumer Cellular trains their reps to not belittle elderly, which is fine. You don't want to baby talk them like they don't know shit about technology. That's them. So when you work for Consumer Cellular during the training, one of the courses you have to take and pass is an AARP training, because they are partnered with AARP, and you know how that stick and dance works. But anyways, but it's very opposite when you get on the phones and you start taking phone calls from customers, because while Consumer Cellular tries to train their reps like, hey, don't baby talk these people. They know about technology. They know about smartphones and stuff. And you hit the phones. Yeah, they know what a smartphone is. They know what a tablet is. They know what Wi-Fi is. But they don't really know what technology is as far as like the mobile technology and stuff. And then you got to really go in there and explain things. And I put customers first. So every contact center's got to learn this about me. And Boost Infinite's about to find out once their center opens down here in Chandler, Arizona, and I'm working there. But I don't give a shit about my metrics. I don't care what my call times are. I don't care about money bonuses. But when I do hit the phones, customers are my priority. I want to take care of people because I treat people how I want to be treated if I had that issue. And that's not me blowing smoke up people's asses. That's how I work. That's my work ethics in contact centers and call centers, is doing that, is literally giving the best customer service I can, sticking to policy and protocol, but assisting the customer and taking care of their needs as long as it falls in lines with policy. Like, I can't give someone a $5,000 credit because they asked for it. Now, if they were charged $5,000 out of their bank account, I'm going to do everything I can to reverse that transaction and give their money back. No, I don't work for Consumer Cellular anymore. Like I said, me and them had a fallout. We bumped heads. Shout out to the people that still work there. I still love them. My coworkers, still care about them. I hope they're kicking ass. I hope some of them promoted. I hope that they're getting in those places. But the way that some of the things that they ran, I just couldn't do. Like, I'm not gonna rush a 90-year-old person that has to read me, because there are times where like SIM cards have to be reprovisioned, and we have, like, during troubleshooting, we have to have them take out the SIM card and read us the ICC ID number, which anyone, you guys know, when you pull out that SIM card, those numbers are tiny. And if they don't have the bigger card that it came in before they punched out the nano SIM, then they can't read it. Like, there's some people that's like, they'll tell me over the phone, like, I'm 90 years old, just give me a minute here. And they're struggling to get that pin in there. You got to be very descriptive of where they should insert the pin, because you don't want them stabbing the microphone with it, because they do that a lot. So yeah, my troubleshooting with the customer over the phone on Consumer Cellular could be anywhere from 10 minutes to 45 minutes. The longest troubleshooting I ever had was 3 hours. And it's because the person on the customer on the phone felt bad because they're elderly, they don't know these things, they had to get magnifying glasses to read things, they needed to find their grandson to help them. And I'm always telling them, like, you don't need to apologize. I understand. Take your time. And then I got in trouble for saying that phrase, take your time. Because they're like, no, you have call times you need to worry about. Screw the metrics. I don't want to be number one agent on the floor for the metrics that they judge agents by on how they promote within the company. I just want to take care of people. A new nerd, VTech Reviews has become a a channel member, so I will return the gesture later. Get them to write down the information on the phone so they don't call back. Yeah. My grandma knows more about how to work a smartphone more than my mom. Yeah, there are some elderly people who know who can learn this stuff. There are some who don't. People are different, right? So I treat everybody the same. I'll not rush people to get things done. I will listen and not just listen to the first 5 minutes of your statement and quickly make a judgment on how to handle your situation. I will listen to what you have to tell me. I will ask questions that gets me more information so I know how to handle your situation before I start presenting how I'm going to fix the problem. And that's like one of the biggest problems that I have with contact centers is that a lot of people that get hired, they don't do a lot of this. They do a lot of this, and they pass judgments very quickly before really knowing. Trying to get that free line from Q-Link. Q-Link is hard to get on nowadays. There's a lot of red tape with ACP. Although you can try it, yeah. Q-Link is a debt-free network. Yeah, my oldest daughter's phone line is Q-Link because my wife had she had they call it Access here, but it's basically Medicare, and because of that, she was able to get a free line with Q-Link, and so we gave that to my daughter so she has a cell phone to call us and text us. The data speeds is not going to be the same as like Metro and Boost and all them. You still have data speeds. It is usable because my daughter can watch YouTube videos on it. And of course, the resolution's in 480p. But she's able to watch YouTube videos. She's able to, browse the internet, browse social media. As I told people before, 5G is not superly important that you have to have it to be able to do basic things. On a phone line that we have that is obviously throttled the entire time, and it's able to still do those things. Because my daughter, she even has her Snapchat video calls with her friends, so it's doable. I've done speed tests on Q-Link, and with the 5G connection, you get a 5x5 access, 5 megabits on the down and on the up. In my area, that's what we get. If I put the SIM card in an LTE only phone, that's where it's like 1 megabit per second. Q-Link uses T-Mobile because the OnePlus Nord N10 that my daughter uses, it's a T-Mobile locked phone, and Q-Link works in it without needing a SIM unlock. Q-Link is crap? I wouldn't say that. Q-Link is, like I said, Q-Link is not like postpaid. It's not like prepaid and MVNO prepaid. Q-Link is giving you the bare minimum. Bare minimum. Its entirety is based on people that can't afford to have cell phones in their home. That's really what it's for. Now you can upgrade your plan to one of their phone plans, and then it becomes like prepaid MVNO status. Well, you'll get QCI 9 level access, and you'll get 100 megabits to 500 on a down on 5G. But of course, you're paying a monthly bill for those plans. But if you're on a free plan, you're definitely going to be on the very, very, very lowest priority. But here's the thing, and this is the reason why I guess when I look at Q-Link, I see it as a glass half full rather than half empty. Because if you compare it to free lines from Freedom Pop, you guys remember those from back in the day? Freedom Pop, get a free line with a SIM card. You pay for the SIM card, it gets shipped to you. Free service on Freedom Pop. It was 150 minutes of talk, 150 megabytes of data. 150 text, 150 talk, 250 megabytes of data. That was it. Hell, there's one point where the free service from Freedom Pop gave you 25 megabytes of data. You could instantly do that by opening a page, and then boom, your data was done for the month. No, I wasn't talking about you, Jane. I was talking about Magical Mermaid. Put the doo-doo emoji, Q-Link doo-doo emoji. The shit emoji. Freedom Pop still exists. Yeah, they're still around. Let's look them up. Freedom Pop and what's the other one? Their sister company. Oh, I can't remember their name. I'll probably remember it when I pull up Freedom Pop because then they'll show up in the results. But yeah, let's go to freedompop.com. And it tells me to put my email. I'm not going to put my email. And it tells you free cell phone service. They're still advertising it. Text now. I have an idea about Google, like Google Voice. If you guys want to hear it, I'll tell you guys my idea, but I know they'll never do this. So right now with Freedom Pop, they're kind of like they're like Ting. They're like customize your plan, build the plan that's right for you. Or you can go unlimited everything plan for $42.99 for your first month, and the plan renews at $55 a month. And Freedom Pop still operates on AT&T's network. Unreal Mobile, that's Freedom Pop's sister company, Unreal Mobile. Okay, so like Google Voice, obviously you can use it on a Wi-Fi connection, right? And there's two things that I really want Google to do with Google Voice. One is integrate it with Google Fi. So you can keep it on Wi-Fi only access through Google Voice app, but also since they have a partnership with T-Mobile on Google Fi, without really converting it over to Google Fi, if you want to use it off Wi-Fi, they should send you a Google Fi SIM card that gives you, I guess you can say throttle speeds, right? So it doesn't need to be extravagant. I don't want this to compete against like Metro or anything like that, but rather have this compete against companies like Text Now, because Text Now, you can keep it strictly on Wi-Fi access only, but you can also get a SIM card for it so you can use it off Wi-Fi access. And so if they gave a Google Fi SIM card that had like limited data speeds, but gave you the cellular connection for phone calls, then you can do Google Voice off Wi-Fi. I really want them to do that. And I want them to implement RCS in Google Voice. I mean, nothing is more annoying than, having these two phones with active SIM lines on it, this phone with an active SIM line on it, and having to give out 3 different phone numbers. I use Google Voice a lot. That's the phone number I give out to everybody, because when you call my Google Voice number, all 3 of these phones ring. So whatever phone I have in my pocket when I'm at the time out, I know I'm going to get my phone calls and my text messages. Problem with text messages is that Google, for some reason, while they're big backers of RCS messaging, they don't want to implement RCS messaging within Google Voice, which maybe I'm going to sound like a dumbass here, but I don't see the complications of implementing chat-like features in Google Voice when Google Voice is basically a VoIP. If everything is basically used on Wi-Fi, then there should be no problem to have the chat-like features of RCS with end-to-end encryptions and better transfer of photos and videos, because that's the real reason I like RCS. I don't really care for it to be like iMessage, but I want to be able to send better photos and better videos and longer video clips. And SMS, MMS can't do that. MMS will always scale down your photos to a bare minimum quality, and videos, there's only a certain file size they're able to do. I need to try Google Voice. Google Voice is not bad at all. Honestly, it's really not. It's like Lawrence. I know Lawrence is a big backer of Text Now, and I'm a big backer of Google Voice. I've been a big backer of Google Voice since 2010, 2011. I don't know if you guys remember Virgin Mobile USA, their plan used to be 300 talk minutes, unlimited text, unlimited 3G data. And like the 300 talk minutes, Of course, that's 300 talk minutes, right? But like I would talk to my dad for like hours on the phone. So what I did back then was, before the Google Voice app allowed you to do this, I used to download the Google Voice app for text messaging. And then there was another app that I would use for VoIP outbound calls. So it would use my Google Voice number. It would make phone calls out, and it was using the 3G connection to make that phone call. So I was never using my 300 minutes, which I thought was pretty good, because a lot of these plans today, like the Boost Infinite $25 plan, always reminds me of Virgin Mobile USA, because that's how much their plan cost, was $25 in the beginning for 300 minutes, unlimited text and picture messaging, unlimited 3G data. Then they upped it by $10 to $35. See, that's one of the reasons why that I didn't go with text now, as like my all-in-one. This is my phone number. Business calls me, companies call me on it, because that's the number I hand out. Google Voice, you don't need to send like one text message a month to keep the phone active. Your Google account just has to stay active. The moment that you delete your entire Google account, you lose your Google Voice number. Kind of is. I mean, one thing I didn't like about it, so like I tried them out, because like my kids, I want them to have phone service for me to call them and to do bare minimum things on it, because when they play their video games on their phone, they're at home on the Wi-Fi doing it, so they don't need that high-speed data when we're going out to dinner, because I'm a firm believer, put your fucking phones away when we're having family dinner. And I tried texting out for my daughter, and I didn't like it because some of the advertisements that was in there. So to get rid of the ads, of course, you got to pay to get rid of the ads. If you want to keep it free, it's going to have ads, and some of the ads were not child friendly. And when I saw that ad on my daughter's phone when she was about to text her mom, I took her off text now. So like right now, the channel sponsors of Mint Mobile gave me 90 days of Mint Mobile service. That service is in my daughter's phone. And I'm going to keep her on Mint Mobile, because I'm going to pay her phone bill every 3 months. But she's on Mint Mobile. She's using it. She's on the unlimited plan. She's good to go on that. My other daughter has a Q-Link. She's fine with that. My youngest son doesn't need a data access outside of the home. His Pixel 3a connects to the Wi-Fi at home. He plays Roblox on it with his sisters. My oldest son has Metro by T-Mobile. He actually handles the Metro by T-Mobile and the T-Mobile home internet bill. That's his responsibility. That's what he wanted. So he's learning responsibility of maintaining and keeping up with his bills. And everything else is under me. Like, so I have Boost Infinite, Boost Mobile, Boost Legacy. Those are what I have. I still have my Mobile X line, which is going to end in 2 more days. I don't plan on renewing Mobile X right now. Maybe down the road, but not right now. But yeah, Google Voice works out for me just because I can have it on all my phones, and anyone can text me on it. If I give you my number, you can text me on it. I'll always get the text messages. The Boost Infinite number, I rarely give that number out just because, there's most people I talk to, like family, are through like chat apps like Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger and those types of stuff. So, but I really wish Google would implement RCS into Google Voice. Like, it just doesn't make sense. These are sometimes I just want to go to the Google campus. Besides touring the campus and saying I'm on Google's campus, because I would be like I would so geek out if I take a trip to California and go to the Google campus and I do a live stream. I would probably be like a fangirl. I'd be fangirling out left and right. But I would also go there with one of those little rubber mallards and just go to the Google Voice team and bop them on the head with it. Like, why aren't you guys putting RCS messaging in there? Because I'm a firm believer of, if you don't push for something that you support wholeheartedly, 100%, why should anyone else take you serious? But Google wants Apple to implement RCS messaging They want to be able to bridge that connection between iPhones and Androids. They want Samsung to use RCS messaging. They want every other OEM to use RCS messaging default. So if that's the case, then put it in your own app. Put it in your own service. Yeah, everything that my kids does is monitored by me. Like even like so like my oldest daughter, like she's 12, she's gonna be 13 this year, and she wonders why that her Google account is attached to my Google account. So there's only certain things that she's able to do on her phone, and when she downloads apps, she has to get the clearance from me to install an app on her phone. And she told me like her friends at school, they don't have parental locks and stuff on their phone. She's like, she feels kind of embarrassed. And I tell her there's nothing to be embarrassed of. You should be proud that you have a father who gives a damn about what you're doing. Like, I can't put locks on your friends' phones. And personally, if their parents ask me if they should do it, I would tell them yes. You need to see what your kids are doing. The internet, even if they're not on the dark web, the internet's still a dangerous place. My daughter has Snapchat. Every day, she has to let me see all her chats. And I screenshot the chats that she has because she does need my approval to delete a chat thread. Because if I start seeing chat threads being deleted without me knowing about it, I completely remove the app off her phone. And that's just because I want to know what she's doing. She's 12, like, the most beautiful thing that I'm very happy about is that my 12-year-old daughter and I have a very good communicative relationship. She hides nothing from me. And I don't hold back on things from her. So she's very well aware. Like, before she can even have her boyfriend, which, some people are like, you let your daughter date, and it's like, she's going to do it. If I tell her, no, you can't have a boyfriend, I don't sit in school with her every day. So she can have her boyfriend at school, and I would never know. So I would rather know than not know. So she and I had the conversation about sex. She and I had the conversations about pregnancy, having a child, giving birth to a child. And then what would happen if, she did get pregnant? She wouldn't drop out of school. This life is going to be harder for her because she's going to go to school. She's going to bring me home good grades to maintain the things that she has, like her laptop, her phones and stuff. But she's also going to have to take care of the baby. She's not going to put the responsibility on her mother or me to be the primary caregivers. She's going to be the primary caregiver. And her boyfriend's going to be the primary caregiver. She knows. But the ultimate thing, and I know this to be true, the ultimate thing and the reason why I think she's okay is because I told her that if she has a child before she's ready, it would deeply break my heart. Because I don't want my daughters to be tied down as soon as they get out of high school. Like, that's the thing that I preach to them most. And I'm not saying that my method of parenting it has to be everybody else's way. People will raise their children how they want to. And I don't care how people raise their children. I only care about how I raise mine. And I told my daughters that because, when I came out of high school, I thought I knew everything about life. I settled down really quick. I got married at the age of 21. I had my first child at 21, and I didn't get to do a lot of things. And so, I'll be, I'm human, so I'm transparent with you guys. And, in my mid 30s, I did have a midlife crisis. I seen younger kids, 18, 19 years old, backpacking through Europe or going through different places. And I'm like, damn, I wish I did that when I was that age. And so I told my daughters and I told my sons too, I'm like, when you guys get out, try not to tie yourselves down. Like, you can have a girlfriend. Your relationship with your girlfriend could be serious. Hell, you could propose to her that you want to marry her if you know she's the one you want to spend your life with, or he's the one you want to spend your life with. But I have asked them to become well-versed in different cultures, to go travel the world. Now, my wife disagrees with me. She's very, very protective of our kids. Like, I told her that, for my son's graduation, we're saving up money because we're taking the family to Aruba. I've never been to Aruba. I saw Technoid went there and it was beautiful where he stayed at. I'm like, damn, I want to go. I mean, yeah, I lived in Hawaii, woohoo, Hawaii, but Caribbean islands have a different atmosphere for a tropical environment, and I love being at the ocean. That's why, like, I feel like I'm slowly dying inside because I'm so far away from the ocean that it's just my thing. I love the water. Anyways, so yeah, we're going to Aruba, and my wife is paranoid because she's like, what if he gets abducted? And I'm like, well, he's 18. He's my son. I mean, I love him as my own son. He's not my biological son, but I love him as my own son. I've raised him since he was 4. And I told her, like, while I would not want anything to happen to him, I also don't want to step on him growing into a man. So if we go to Aruba and he decides to go hiking on a mountain and he gets abducted, yes, I'm going to do everything in my power to save my son and get him back, even if it means laying down my own life or trading myself for him. I would do it in a heartbeat, not even thinking twice. But I'm not going to stop him from doing things because I feel like that he might be kidnapped. He might be held ransom to the United States by some weird, crazy people. Like, he's going to do what he's going to do. If he travels to Thailand and crosses the border into Burma and gets caught by the Burmese regime, he gets caught. Can't do nothing about it, But I want my kids to be well versed in different cultures because this is how, at least for me, how I feel like why I can get along with so many people is because, like, I've been around a lot of Asians. I've been around, well, I mean, I am half Asian myself, but I've been around a lot of Micronesians, Polynesians. I've been around Caucasians. I've been around Black Americans. I've been around Hispanics. I've been around a lot of different people, and I learn about their cultures and their ways of living. It allows me to be able to kind of like always tip myself to be on that same level where they feel like I understand where they're coming from. It's because I genuinely do. I feel like the more that you learn about the world and the people in it, the better handling you have in life. Because these days, and I'm a firm believer of this, these days we need more love and compassion for one another. We need more understanding. I cannot, like, I'm the type of person that if you're being attacked on the streets, I'm not going to whip my phone out and put you on World Star. I can care less about getting a viral video. But if you're being beat up by several people and it's an unfair fight, I'm going to jump in to help you and get you out of it. I'm that type of person. I feel like that, we need less arguments on Twitter. We need less arguments on social media. I think that people have a right to feel and think the way that they want to, to think and feel. But I'm nobody to try to oppress their thoughts and feelings. And I would like the same respect in return. We're always going to find common ground. Every one of you in the chat right now, we may not agree on certain things, but there are other things that we would agree on. And that's called finding common ground. I would like people to be individuals and think in an individual standpoint, because then it allows things to be very interesting. If everyone's all the same mindless herd, life would become boring. Do you think Visible Wired will ever come out? Visible Wired? What do you mean, like home phone service? Or are you talking about like internet? I remember at 17, I traveled to different states on my own. Now, granted, it was to see a girl. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I've done some crazy things for girls. I mean, I think that was like one of my biggest downfalls growing up. Was I'm a passionate lover, and I'm an above and beyond type person. If I love you, if you're a woman that I'm interested in, and I love you very much, I will go above and beyond. I will do the stupidest things if it meant making you happy. And that was one of my biggest downfalls, because I've ran into women in life that took advantage of that. And yeah, it didn't turn out so well, but some of them are cool with me now. Like I'm friends with some of my ex-girlfriends from the past. I'm doing good, Bobby. I'm doing good. I appreciate you for asking. But yeah, But anyways, taking the whole thing with the kids way back to the tech thing. So yeah, that's everything that they do on their stuff. They they're really cool about it. They let me see it. Um, even my kids' Nintendo Switch lights. Of course, my youngest son found out because he was YouTubing. He found out that you can flash Android on a Switch Lite, and so he came into the room and he wants me to flash Android as a second boot up operating system on his Switch Lite because he wants to be able to access Android games on a handheld. And I'm just like, dang, what am I going to do at Boost Infinite? So what I'm hired to do, I got hired in on the position of senior customer service level 4. So my job description is that I do everything. They have it in different levels. Obviously, entry level, level 1, customer service reps handle general questions and I want to say bill payments. Level 2 handles level 1 stuff, and you add in additional customer service stuff like bill explanations and activations. Level 4 does all of that, including handling port-ins and port-outs. And I'm not entirely sure, but I'm thinking that is the top point because there's discussions of becoming a team lead and all this other stuff right after that. So I'm assuming that level 4 is like where you can max at the customer service rep level, and then after that you can sprout. You can either go and become a trainer, go and become a team lead, and grow in management on the team lead side. So you become a site operations manager and then site director. So there's all those different things. You'll be going to Boost Infinite as in how? Like applying for them? Because I actually, to be honest, and I'm not being arrogant, I'm just telling you the context of this. I didn't apply to work at Boost Infinite. They found me on LinkedIn and shot me an email and said that I would be a good fit for their company. And that's how it went off. It was funny because yesterday I had to send them a photocopy of the drug screening I had to do because I did my drug screening last week, Friday, and the recruiter didn't get that information. So I had until Monday to get it done. And I went ahead and just sent them the photo of the carbon copy from the clinic. And so we're good there. My background check came in cleared. Drug screening is cleared because I don't do drugs, sort of. I mean, you can count nicotine as a drug. That's about it. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke weed. Weed's not illegal, but I don't smoke it. I was never really into it. And I don't do any hardcore stuff like chemicals. So I'm good. Now it's just a waiting game. Like, I don't know. Maybe I might go back. I might do that. Maybe I'll do that tonight just to take a drive. But maybe I'll go live from my mobile phone tonight, and I'll go to where the contact center is at because the building is up. It's not a brand new building they're building. They just relocated Dish Network customer service reps to a different location in my city, and they designated that building for Boost Infinite customer care. So inside is completely empty. They have to bring in like the desks, the computers. They have to wire up everything to make sure that it's connected to the internet cable, so that way we're able to function and work. And then, me and whoever got hired with me is going to be the first wave in that building. So we'll be considered like wave 1 or class 1. I was telling my wife, more than likely, depending on how the growth and expansion is and what the business needs, 9 times out of 10, by the time like the 6th or 7th training class comes in, I'll more than likely be in line to get my own team. And when I get my own team, obviously I'm not going to be on the calls. I am going to be helping them. And my goal is always the same in a leadership position. And that's, I'm not a leader as in I don't have to do work. I'm going to sit my ass back and do nothing. My thing is that if I am considered somebody in the company that gives great customer service, then I'm going to show my team what I did to do that so they can replicate, do the same thing. So my team stands out amongst all the other teams. I'm very competitive in that sense. And I want my team to kick ass, and I want them to have the best stats, and I want them to basically get the best reviews from customer surveys and things like that. So I will coach, I will help. And even if they need like help that's a little bit unorthodox, I'm that type of person in a leadership position that will back you doing something, even if I feel like the main company is going to get mad about it. I will do it to help you, to help the customer, and I will take the blame for it when corporate comes down on it. I will be the one to say that I told my rep to do it to save my rep so they don't get in trouble. I'm that type of manager. That's how I was in Sprint. That's how I handled things in Sprint. That's why they hated me in Sprint. And my lead, my manager, Izzy, shout out to him, he was the same way. So he and I are not so different when it comes to thinking about those types of things. But do I think Visible Wireless will be in retail stores like Walmart? So kind of like what they did with like, Google Fi, how Google Fi is in Best Buy and, Boost and Metro and all that. It's a strong possibility. Because I know that one of Visible's main things is that they don't want to be relying on physical stores. They don't want to have to pay rent, because that's how they, in their eyes, that's how they keep their costs down. Is if they're not having to pay rent to a building, if they're not having to pay a company to host their products, the more money that they're saving in, the less they have to charge you for the services that you get. That's why when Visible was like really starting to take off, when they approached me to review their services and whatnot, which I was excited for. That was like one of the first times any company's ever said, hey, we want you to try us out. We're going to send you a SIM card, get your service set up, just make videos on what you think about it. I was like, wow. So that was one of their biggest advertisement points. If you guys remember their old ads, they used to have like little billboards that stated they weren't going to rent any physical buildings to host a store because they didn't want to raise prices on what they were charging back then. You'll never know, Bobby, if you're talking to me, because like I said, like one thing that I asked from everybody in the last live stream was that when I am working there, like not to come at me on YouTube or on social media to fix something on your accounts. I will never access a customer's account unless you're on the phone with me. And if you're on the phone with me, I'm not going to tell you it's me, even if I recognize your name. And even if even if you were to say on the open line, like you follow me on YouTube and I said this about Boost Infinite, I'm not going to tell you, oh, yeah, I know, because I'm the one that said it. I'm not going to tell you that. You'll never know if you're talking to me unless you can perfectly match my voice over the phone and know it's me on the phone. Verizon pays rent. Yeah. Which is funny, though, because technically that's like a loophole for Visible to be able to be in physical stores without being in physical stores. Since Verizon owns them, if they sold Visible service in Verizon stores, they wouldn't need to open up new spots. They would just have them already in their stores. So there's a loophole there, but I don't know. I don't know if Visible will ever exploit that. Yeah. Anyways, man, that's like my uncle. He is a doctor. We ask him a million questions. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just because, like, for one, I know I'm not going to be able to access anybody's account unless you're on the phone with me or you're on the Boost Infinite's app live chat, because I'm doing both, taking calls and taking chat. And yeah, people get fired for that. Like when I had my own team and everything, I've had to walk people out for doing that. because and that was one of, and see, and I used to tell them like this is the reason why that companies feel like that they want to outsource to the Philippines and India, because that's one of the big things. Yes, people in the Philippines are hard to communicate with at times, but 9 times out of 10, the rep you're talking to doesn't have a family member in the United States, so they don't have to worry about that rep doing some sneaky underhanded stuff. I've had people in Sprint go into their, tell their family to sign up for Sprint so they can start crediting their account and making their bills way less than what it was already. Because the unlimited freedom plan on Sprint, they had like, it was like $65 for lines 1 and 2 together, and then lines 3 to 5 are free. And so they would get that. That's a promotion already, because that would be like a 1-year promotion from Sprint. And these reps would go in to their family's account and give them other promotional credits that would discount and drop the price to like as low as, I see it as low as $20. So someone was paying $20 for unlimited talk, text, data, lines 3 to 5 free. They got the promos for the 4 phones. So those 4 phones are getting credited, so they're free. And they were getting Hulu for $20. Like, you can't beat that as a family plan. But there was some underhanded stuff, and it was sad because I had to walk the person out the floor, and that's embarrassing. Because I'm not an asshole, so I didn't take their badge right when they were busted at their desk. But I called them into a private meeting room area and let them know that we know what they did. We have it. They are being let go. I need their badge. I would take their key card that allows them into the building. But then I would have to, go to their desk, try to help them get all their stuff put in a box, and then walk them out the front door. And it's sad to do that, So yeah, accessing anybody's account outside of the fact that the customer is not on the phone talking to you is a big no-no. Yeah, I've had call center agents that have given the ultimate hookups. They've done some crazy stuff for their spouses, their family members, and stuff. Yeah, it's sad to have to do that. That's one thing I hate. Like, I love being able to, to be in a leadership position because I love watching other people grow. Like I said, I'm very competitive. I like my team to kick other teams' asses on the floor, but I also like to say my team produces more leadership by helping those people come up and become team leads when we expand and need more teams brought on. I know I have the people on my team that are well qualified to manage their own team. The thing I don't like about a leadership position is having to walk somebody out the floor, having to say, you lost your job. Because I understand people like that's their job. That's how they pay their rent. That's how they buy food. And I hate taking it away from somebody. But when you break the rules, you break the rules. Customer service breaches, that's equal to identity theft. Exactly, it is. And some people do catch charges. Oh my God. I'll share a story with you guys. Man, I really sounded like an airhead there. Whatever. We're talking, we're chit-chatting. When I worked for Verizon's call center back in 2004, I had rapidly grown to a coach. So team leads and Sprint is the same thing as Verizon's coaches. Coaches run a team. And I had to walk a lady out. And I felt so bad because I understand. There's people who just generally go crazy for celebrities. And my team handled celebrity accounts, right? So we handled Chester Bennington, rest in love to him. He had service. Well, I don't know if he ever left Verizon, but during that time he had Verizon service. He had Verizon phone service. And he was consistently calling a lot because there was this weird woman sending him text messages. She loved his tattoos. She loved his new hairstyle. When was he going to bring back, the spikes? All these things. She was obsessed with Chester Bennington, so obsessed with him. And every time he would call, they would do things like they would change his mobile phone number and, all these things. But the woman was working for the company. And yeah, I had to walk her out. I had to let her know she was termed from her job. And she caught charges too, because it had turned out that with his information, she was able to obtain things. See, like, the thing with celebrities is that they have account managers that's supposed to manage all their stuff, right? The celebs, they take care of whatever they do. If they're actors, they take care of movies they're working on. If they're musicians and singers, they take care of making music for us to enjoy. So Chester's not going to go and look and see how many phone lines he has on his Verizon plan. He's thinking he has one for him, for his girlfriend or wife, and whatever other family member, right? This girl added a line to his account. So it was that's what threw off the department, was because he was getting text messages from a phone number that was on his account as one of his lines. It wasn't until, I forgot who it was. I don't remember his name, but he was like, yeah, the only messages he's getting is from people on his family plan. He's like, let's look at the lines, each one of them, and let's see if they all have the same address. So we look, of course, they all have the same billing address, but when he looked individually on each line, the orders, there was one line that had an order for an LG chocolate that was sent to a different address. And we cross-referenced the address. We started looking internally towards customer service reps, and the address matches one of our employees, which happened to be on my team. And I was like, dang, time to confront and let this woman go. So the day that I let the operations manager and the site director know, like, hey, okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull her in for a meeting. Told them the time I was going to do the meeting. They were prepared. They were in the room. I went in the room. I spoke to her mostly as her coach, let her know that she was termed and that I needed her key card and her ID badge. I didn't know the site director had to, but they had already contacted authorities. So when I walked her out, we went through the doors that goes into the contact center, around the hall, down to the second door that goes to the lobby where security is at, and there was police waiting already. They took her into custody. I don't know what her punishment was, but she was on his account for over a year. So that's a hell of a lot. I even remember, my ex-wife worked for Dish Network. She worked for their customer service center in Oklahoma City. And she came home one day. She was like, I just handled Jennifer Lopez's account. We were just talking about these weird things like that. I'm just like, okay, well, what's so special about her package? She's like, she's got the platinum package. I'm like, do tell. She's like, Jennifer Lopez's satellite TV subscription gives her channels from all over the world. I was like, okay, so she can watch, the news in Dubai, or she can watch the news from the Philippines, or she can watch the news from Japan, or watch TV programming from over there. She gets all channels. I was like, that's pretty cool. Then she goes to tell me how much it cost, and I was baffled. A $1,200 bill a month to have all channels in the entire world, including all movie subscription things like HBO, Stars, and all them. I was like, wow, $1,200. Like, at the time, that's double our rent, because back then a 2-bedroom apartment was like $600 a month. Where Best Buy reps charges your account in another location for iPhone products purchases. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if she's still with Dish Network, but that shocked the hell out of me. They had stuff like that. I'm just like, wow, platinum package. I had this crazy idea that I was going to save up $1,200 and subscribe to that for 1 month. Never did it, but I mean, I saved up the money, but then I found other things worth buying. So it's like when you find, like, I'm a nerd and I like old video game stuff. So I remember when I was buying a house in Oklahoma during my first marriage. I had my own man cave. It was a 3-bedroom house, so one bedroom was my son's room, and then the other bedroom was mine and my ex-wife's room. And the third one, I brought a TV in there, and I started buying all these retro game consoles. Like I would go to Goodwills, I would go to thrift stores, I would try to find old Nintendo consoles, Super Nintendo consoles, N64, PlayStation Ones, Sega Dreamcast, Virtual Boy. I had a Virtual Boy. It was annoying as hell, but I had one. The handhelds, like the original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. Um, I was buying them all. Sega Genesis with the 32X extension and the CD-ROM extension. Buying the Sega Master System. I bought a lot of stuff, and I turned my entire my man cave was legit. And I had installed a deadbolt lock on the door because if I didn't want to be bothered by my wife and her friends, because well, she was my ex-wife, but like at the time she was my wife. Like she was heavy into smoking weed a lot and doing a lot of dumb shit, and I wasn't into that. So when her friends came over to drink and party or whatever, I would bring my son into the man cave and deadbolt lock the door so they couldn't bother me. And I had my own refrigerator in there, food, snacks, stuff like that. I really didn't have to leave that. Had a nice, comfortable couch and everything. I would just be in there, and my son being only 2 years old and letting him watch me play Super Mario Brothers and trying to like beat Super Mario in record time. So like I would go through everything without using the warp pipes. Same thing with Super Mario Brothers 3. I wouldn't use the warp flute. I would try to beat the game from the first world to the last world, see how fast I can do it. Yeah. I like to collect old video games and stuff like that. There's a place here. I posted a video here on the channel, I believe, or it's on my vlog channel, but where I went to Phoenix Collectors Marketplace, which has a whole lot of collectible stuff. I'm talking about they have the old 1990s, early 80s, well, late 80s, early 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figure still sealed in its original packaging in flaw mint condition. Raphael's is $720 for it. The guy has it behind the counter. I am going to buy that. Raphael was my favorite Ninja Turtle. And just having that sealed in its original packaging, whew, they have foot soldiers that are $150 a piece, never been opened. And I don't know where the hell they find these things at, but they find them. And they sell other stuff current today too. Like they sell like a bunch of Funko Pops, and they sell a lot of anime statues from like animes like My Hero Academia or Demon Slayer or any of those. But they have rare stuff, like super rare. Like they have an entire casing. And I forgot, I know it's close to $100,000 because you have to buy everything in that case. But it is the first generation series of G.I. Joe action figures, including assault vehicles as well. You got to buy it as an entire set. It's over $100,000 for it. I'm just like, crap, I don't have $100,000 to buy this. Because there's one thing in there that I got for my 5th birthday. It was the shark tank. So it was like a purple looking vehicle that had like a shark's head that moved when you move the wheels. It had the I call them the conveyor belt wheels. I got that for my 5th birthday from my mom. And so when I saw it there, it's part of the set. I'm like, why can't I just buy that by itself? But the owner doesn't want to separate any piece because it took him almost 20 years to collect all those. And then he's putting them for sale for $100,000. I'm like, dang. They got the pizza thrower machine for the Ninja Turtles action figures. And he wants $50 for that. I know I'm definitely going to buy that. Yeah, it's a really good place. I'll probably, one day I go back there, I'll probably live stream while I'm in there. The first time I went, I didn't know if they would be comfortable. So I just recorded video clips as I went through everything. And they were cool about it. They were like, as long as I'm not, putting a camera in customers' faces or interfering with their business, they don't care if I live stream and walk around and show what's in there. I was like, okay, cool, because they also have like the old school original WWF action figures. Like they got like the 5 different versions of the Ultimate Warrior. So they had the Ultimate Warrior. They had the purple trunks with the purple face paint. They had the one that I call it the birthday confetti Ultimate Warrior because he had like the white trunks where the warrior symbols are different colors and his face was like mostly white with like a rainbow style outline. They had the WrestleMania 6 action figure. They had the Survivor Series Team Captain action figure where he wore silver. They had a lot of stuff. Papa Shango's action figure, the model Rick Martel, Mr. Perfect, Ted DiBiase with Virgil. They have a lot of old school wrestling action figures, and they have like the old school rings, the WWF ring, and everything. They want $200 for the WWF ring. Yeah, I'm ready for WrestleMania. I don't know what like so like I've watched Raw, and I'm seeing everybody's comments about Monday Night Raw and how they felt heartbroken that Jey Uso attacked Sami Zayn and is staying with the Bloodline, and I'm like, I don't know if that's legit or if that's staged, like storyline wise, right? Because you had several times where Jey got in between Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. It just doesn't make sense for him to just completely snap on Sami. So I have 2 ways of looking at this. One is that because Sami betrayed the Bloodline, Jey came up with the ultimate plan to get close enough to stab Sami Zayn in the back. Or B, this doesn't work. Like Sami taking one for the team to make it seem as if Jey is still with the Bloodline. And maybe Jey did it because Roman threatened to make Jimmy responsible if Jey doesn't return. Yeah, I know. I mean, business wise, I understand that. And some people like it is just funny. You can see how hard people are because some are like maybe Jay's gonna double cross the Bloodline and Jimmy at WrestleMania and lose the titles to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I'm looking forward to Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. I'm looking forward to that. I think WrestleMania this year is going to be pretty interesting. You have Omos versus Brock Lesnar, and screw Brock Lesnar for not wanting to work with Bray Wyatt. But I mean, you know what? That's just that. Personally, I don't think the match would have went great anyways. Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt. So him going against Bobby Lashley to me just works out. Of course, if you guys heard the laugh, I'm like 100% convinced that Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas. That laugh that he gave when he attacked Bobby Lashley, just. Anyways, but you have that. Shout out to the return of Trish Stratus and Lita. That was awesome that Lita and Becky Lynch won the Women's Tag Team Championship. That's great. And, Trish Stratus making a straightaway for Bayley. We're going to have WrestleMania is going to be good this year. I'm ready for it. And WrestleMania is on my dad's birthday. So April 1st and April 2nd. So I'm ready for it. And I'm happy too, because then I don't start at Boost Infinite till the end of April. So I'll watch WrestleMania. Both nights. Maybe I might live stream for a little bit without showing it. There'll be audio, but I'll probably do it on the vlog channel that way, because the vlog channel is like my channel. I can do stuff and not have to worry about YouTube dropping a hammer on me, because if they take that channel away, it's okay. But maybe I'll do it on the vlog. So if you aren't subscribed to the vlog channel, you guys can subscribe to it. I've shared vlog videos I posted on my main feed here on YouTube, on this YouTube channel. So yeah, let's have a watch party. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, we could be on a live stream while watching it. That'd be dope as hell. Ooh, Ravishing Rick Rude. Yes. Yeah, they even have the old Rockers action figures. Remember back? I don't know. I was a big fan of the Rockers. Their style of ring gear I liked, like the way that they had like the little tassels on their boots and on the hip sash and the neon color tights. I thought it was cool. I was like, I'll be honest with you, I'm a big Hardy Boys fan. So much that, at the age of 16, I actually bleached my hair and dyed it rainbow colors like Jeff Hardy. I thought it was cool. Um, my brother Ruben and I, we used to play wrestling at 16. Like, we would have wrestling matches, across the street at the playground. We would have inferno matches and stuff. And I remember I actually thought I broke my back because I tried to do the Swanton Bomb, and where he was laying at, there was a root from a tree on the ground, and he moved, and I hit that flat on my back, and I thought I had paralyzed myself because I couldn't move for 10 minutes. But yeah, the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, Christian and Edge, like, yeah, Attitude Era times too were awesome. Um, I thought John Cena's promo with Austin Theory was actually pretty good, and I thought it was pretty cold. My wife watched it this morning with me, and I was explaining to her, like, this is the reason why you don't get in a war of words with John Cena, because he's pretty good at cutting promos, and he'll go straight for you. And she watched the part where John Cena told Austin Theory that he would rather much be bald than to have WWE production pipe fake audience reactions, because the real audience don't care about what he does in the ring. And that was cold as shit to tell new talent. But I'm looking forward to his match with Austin Theory. Yeah, I think Cena really kind of, I think, when he says he's about the business and he loves the business, you can tell he does. Like, he studied the business good enough to, he can cut way good promos. My favorite all time, and this is probably cliche, but my favorite all time promo that Cena cut was what he said to, I believe his name is Joe Anua'i, but Roman Reigns. What he told him in the ring to set up for their match, when he came out with, everyone thinks I have the myth, this golden shuffle, the mythical golden shuffle, and that I bury as much talent as I have, and I'm a shark and I hold everybody down and swim to the top. But then that last part that he went at, where he's like, if you want to blame me, fine, I blame you. I blame you that I'm still here because you can't do your job. That was cold as shit because Roman sucked at promos. He had the physique. He had the in-ring ability, but his promos sucked. And then when he came to the main roster and the breakup of the Shield, fans already knew he was being pushed as the golden boy, and that's why they rejected him. That's why he's more loved now as a wrestler than when he was loved back then, because his heel is good. I like his heel. His whole acknowledge me, I'm in God mode, and you the twos, we the ones, and all this stuff, and it's going good. CM Punk is, like, in my opinion, on the mic, pipe bomb always goes to him, because he beats his own drum and he speaks his mind. I mean, my daughters, because they're fans of CM Punk, they were shocked the night of the infamous pipe bomb. They kept asking me if Vince McMahon was okay with him saying what he said, and I told them no. You really think the owner of WWE is going to be okay with someone saying the company's better off if he was dead? Nah. Yeah, it was golden. Even outside of WWE, one of my favorite promos again involves CM Punk, and that was CM Punk and MJF. Like, their in-ring promo and what was said was just whoa. I still laugh at the fact that he called MJF a less famous Miz. So where I go with John Cena on the mic, it's when John Cena actually, like, goes at a wrestler. When it's a promo of him on the mic by himself, it's, like, decent. I always find it to be very interesting and shock value when he's promoing with another wrestler, but he's actually talking truths, right? Like when him and AJ Styles had their promo, and he said, you think of yourself as the guy, dude. You're just a guy trying so desperately to fill shoes that you know you can't. And then he hit that whole thing. You don't like me? Why? Because I didn't put time in the indies. When John hits those points, right? Because it knocks down barriers. Sometimes we like to see transparency in the in-ring talent instead of stuff that we can feel was written by the great writers of WWE. Sometimes we want to see them kind of go outside of it, right? We want to see them bring some truths in. I mean, there are people that I know that are wrestling fans that didn't know that Chris Jericho got into it with Brock Lesnar in a real thing backstage because he didn't know that the match between Brock and Randy, it was set up for Brock to cut Randy's forehead with that elbow strike and to have him gush blood to get that effect. Jericho thought that Brock truly hurt Randy, and he went at it with Brock Lesnar backstage. It's weird how these things work. It was funny when I used to watch that talk show for WWE back then, WWF, and Lita was on it, and Matt Hardy called in and aired out her infidelity with Adam Copeland. And it was like, wait, Lita's really cheating on Matt Hardy with Edge? I thought that was just a thing. But of course, they all agreed to Vince McMahon to let their dirty laundry out as a storyline. And then it led to some good matches, like the Hell in a Cell match between Edge and Matt Hardy. That was pretty good. Yeah, basically, indies today are more mainstream now. Like a lot of people have figured out the indies and have gotten to want to watch them. Oh yeah, I remember that so well because even I was shocked to find out that there really was some infidelity in there. It was weird too because when I researched this stuff, like I just couldn't see like and they're not together anymore because obviously Phil Brooks is married to I forgot what her real name is, but she goes by AJ Lee. Um, but him and Lita, I don't see them meshing well in real life. I don't know why, but yeah, they dated for a time. Yeah, it had good matches. You had to give it to Edge and Matt Hardy, even though they personally had real hatred for each other because of the whole Lita situation. They were able to keep it professional and have a decent match at SummerSlam at Hell in a Cell and keep it professional and not try to like really hurt. Yeah, AJ Mendez. There you go. Thanks for the update. Yeah, AJ Mendez. Which is funny because I wonder if we're ever going to see her again back in the ring soon. I think what AEW is doing with CM Punk sucks. And I believe he's still under contract with them, but he's shelved. They're not going to bring him back. But they brought back Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and all them. And even that stuff was bad. I mean, I don't know. I agree with people. CM Punk could have handled that a lot better. Like he says that they bursted into his locker room, so it looked like they were ready for a fight. So he threw the first punch, and that's okay. But I really felt like that the violence didn't really need to happen. Like he cut his promo after winning the AEW championship for a second time. He cut his promo. He talked about it. He talked about Colt Cabana and the situation with him, and he talked about you know the the VPs of AEW and the things that they're saying and like the way that they handle stuff and backstage gossip and manipulation and stuff like that. They should never done that. Like a lot of those things could have been addressed, you know, in Tony Khan's office. Everyone say their thing, get it out, because like we lose out because how far could a CM Punk went with the AEW championship? What kind of matches will we got? I mean, I thought his match with Darby Allin was solid. Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want more talk like this, I don't mind doing it on my streams. And put me, you, and Bill Hustles on a podcast. Yeah, you build a channel for it, and I'll do it. I don't mind getting on there. But yeah, I feel like that. We got cheated. Um, we got cheated with CM Punk being in AEW. We don't get to see what could have been. We don't get to see what kind of matches that we could have had. You know, hell, there could have been at one point where we would have gotten CM Punk versus Sting. That would have been great because we never got our dream match. And like I tell a lot of people that talk about it, the dream match would have been Sting versus The Undertaker. But I don't want to see, you know, older Sting versus older near retirement Undertaker. The dream match would have been 1995, no, 1996 to 97 Sting versus the same year, 96 to 97 Undertaker. That's what I want to see. Because I remember people went bananas back in 2011 when they were cutting that promo. I don't know if you guys saw so many people break it down saying that it was Sting that was coming to WWE, but it was the Undertaker's promo at the wooden ranch house at night during a thunderstorm. And I swear people had so good imaginations because there were people who were like, watch the first clip. The first clip is Sting. Look at the boots. Look at the bottom of the jacket. Those are Stings. And then the second promo that was cut, they were like, that's the Undertaker. Look at his boots. Look at his coat. And then they were having this theory like Sting was coming in through the front door, Undertaker's coming in through the back door, and they're setting up for a Sting versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. Possibly. That was cool as shit because when it turned out to just be the Undertaker and the second person was Triple H, which set up for their first, not their first. So a lot of people forget Triple H as Hunter Hearst Helmsley faced the Undertaker way back in the day. So Triple H and Taker have 3 WrestleMania matches, I believe. Um, but that led to the famous match where Triple H was going to try to beat the streak. And with the streak, I agree with a lot of people. I feel like Brock Lesnar was not the person that Vince should have pushed to be the one to break the streak. And even Mark said it himself, that there were other talent coming up that he could have put over by letting them beat the streak at WrestleMania. Yeah, and I mean, I understand Sting's point of view, but my opinion, I wouldn't have let something like that really bother me. When Steve went on to say like he was considering coming to WWE, but then when he saw what they did with Booker T, where Booker T and The Rock came back to back, and The Rock turned around and looked at Booker T and uttered the "Who the hell are you?" and he felt like that undermined all of Booker T's accomplishments. I mean, yeah, it kind of did, but fans were looking at it from a different standpoint. They would expect The Rock to look at Booker T and say, "Who the hell are you?" Because WCW and WWF were feuding for ratings. So Booker T wouldn't be someone that The Rock would be knowledgeable about because The Rock was only focused on kicking Triple H's ass in every confrontation they had and trying to be better than Stone Cold in every confrontation they had. It was always a cycle of the same guys fighting each other: Mankind versus The Rock, Mankind versus Stone Cold, Undertaker versus Mankind, Undertaker versus Triple H, and it was always that. Why would why would The Rock know anything about Booker T? Storyline wise. So I felt like that Sting let that get to him, and his fear of not being on top was mainly it. But I don't know. Sometimes I feel too like he also was afraid because the way the Ultimate Warrior worked out. Because I used to watch old matches when the Ultimate Warrior wasn't even known as the Ultimate Warrior. He was known as the Dingo Warrior, and his tag team partner was Sting for a while. And then they called themselves the Blade Runners. Or I could be wrong on that, but I know they were a tag team for a while because even when the Ultimate Warrior came to WCW, and that promo, that promo was messed up. when he decided to kind of like make fun of the Renegade because WCW tried to build their own version of the Ultimate Warrior. They called him the Renegade. For him to bring that up in a promo that was supposed to see him and Hogan finally confront each other after after WrestleMania 6, right? So many years, the Warrior was going to come in and be the next hero added to the list to take on the NWO. But anyways, yeah. Um, yeah. Wish Brock Lesnar would hit the Rock with the Harlem Hangover. Oh man, there's some cool stuff. Like I said, I was a big fan of the Hardy Boys. Today, I'm still pissed off in the fact that Jeff is letting his personal life get in the middle. Like, this is like, I guess, the way that life works, right? You got people that have really good talent. Like Jeff has good talent as a high flyer. His in ring development got better with his ground technique. He's got the look with the whole dyeing his hair different colors. He's even got the side weird characters like Willow. He's got the charisma to captivate an audience, right? Fans gravitate to Jeff Hardy. So like you have it made to be top caliber. And at one point he was top caliber, but he always let his personal shit get in the way. His addiction to soma pills, his drinking. Does he look clean and sober? Since you saw Jeff Hardy last week at a live event? He got released shortly after my local event. Yeah, because he don't want to do rehab. Like that was a reason why he left WWF the first time, when he was being pushed in a. Oh, okay. So the last WWE event that you went to, the live show, that's when he was there. Was that the one where he walked out? But yeah, Jeff never wants to do rehab. The first time he left WWE was because he failed the drug test. Vince wanted him to go to rehab. Vince was going to pay for the whole thing out of pocket, and he refused it. He left. He went to pursue his music with Peroxygen. Then he came to TNA. After doing some stuff outside, like some indie work, he came to TNA. Gave us a great debut match. Coming in, wrestling AJ Styles, of course, was a Kid Cash interfered, and AJ and him teamed up to fight them off. Goes through TNA, fine. Goes back to WWE, comes in, faces Edge for the championship. Fails a drug test again, leaves WWE, goes back to TNA, goes there, gets built up in TNA. Then Victory Road was like one of his lowest points, coming out literally fucked up on drugs so much. And like my wife didn't know this, and I had to explain it to her. When Eric Bischoff came to the ring on the Victory Road pay-per-view main event, I was like, yeah, he cut a promo to tell Sting, like, Jeff couldn't prepare for him, so they've changed the stipulations of the match, so he won't be prepared for Jeff. But when he went into the ear of Sting, because there's a point where you see Eric Bischoff come real close to Sting and they talk. They literally just gave him the green light to end this match quickly because something's wrong. Now, I remember Eric Bischoff was talking about it on Periscope live stream when he used to do his Periscopes. He said it, and he said what he said. He told him to finish it quickly. So Sting, being a good wrestler, good veteran, Scorpion Death Drop Jeff Hardy, and you can tell when he's pinning him, he's literally with all his strength holding Jeff's body so he wasn't able to kick out. And of course, you knew something was wrong because even after the match was over and Sting was leaving the ring, Jeff didn't sell the finisher, which every wrestler is supposed to. Don't matter what the situation is. You sell your opponent's finisher if they do it on you. Raven's WWF gimmick was Johnny Paul. Dude, I remember when Saturn used to walk around. Mops have feelings too. He used to come out with a fucking mop. Raven, I think, was very underutilized when he came to WWF. You know what I mean? Yeah, Saturn had a mop. Um, you can tell, like there were certain people like Taz. Man, Taz is like one of my top, brawler wrestlers. Dude didn't fear shit, and I um I hated the way that WWF used him. They booked him in matches that just to me didn't make sense. They didn't elevate him. They didn't showcase what he could do as in ring, and then they put him on commentary. As far as like group factions, I think one of the funniest ones. So I don't consider them one of the best ones, but I consider them one of the funniest ones was Aces and Eights. And the reason why I say that it's funny is because Aces and Eights biker gang used to come out all masked up, and then to throw people off so you wouldn't figure out who was in the group, they would have the guys who were originally in the group fight, um, jobbers who dressed up in the mask until you started finding out like Devon was in it, and was it Garrett Bischoff was in it, and little by little, they were showing that former WWE talent was in Aces and Eights, and then the big reveal, Bully Ray was the leader. Oh yeah, there were some pretty bad gimmicks. I still, in my opinion, I still believe one of the worst gimmicks ever in the entire wrestling business was the Shockmaster. They they literally bedazzled a stormtrooper's helmet. He looked like the barbarian met a future Star Wars person and had a child. The child was the Shockmaster. My favorite gimmick bust of all times was Seven, when Dustin Reynolds, when he literally debuted as Seven in WCW, and then just cut that amazing promo to say how he was sick and tired of doing gimmicks like that. And it was funny too when he said the line that the powers that be got me here in this ridiculous outfit, got me to dress up like Uncle Fester and play trick or treat with you guys 365 days a year. I was like, um, yeah, it was spelled seven too with the number seven, like slightly in the middle. But yeah, it was. I mean, when he cut that promo, like I have mad respect for the Reynolds family. Like when Cody Rhodes started debuting with the intro Kingdom, and it was wonderful. Like when he started calling himself the American Nightmare, I was like, hey, Dustin used to call himself that, so that's like paying homage to his older brother, or his older half brother, and that's also paying homage to his dad. His dad was the American Dream. Cody Rhodes using the American Nightmare moniker and coming out with the opening to his intro saying that wrestling has more than one royal family, right? And I was like, hell yeah, like I love that angle of it because it doesn't just only reference the Reynolds family, but you got the Wyndhams, um, you know, I guess to the Polynesian Samoan side, you got the Anuais. You got different families that have put a lot into the business, right? And so like I feel like that Cody brings the respect to those families with his character, like his person, right? I even loved that when he debuted at WrestleMania last year, when he did the whole Stardust cartwheel. But Cody Rhodes is awesome. I'm for sure he's taking the titles at WrestleMania. I feel like that Roman is ready to drop the belt to him because now they got to start disbanding the bloodline. Like honestly feel like that Jimmy and Jay do need to move up as singles. I do feel like that Solo needs to start building himself even more. Like he's built himself in NXT, he's built himself coming to the main roster, but he's part of a stable, playing the enforcer role. Like the Samoan male version of China is what he is. But they can push these guys in singles so they can start taking those spots so some of the older guys can start beginning to retire. It was a dig at the Flairs and the Wyndhams and yeah. But Cody's angle right now about finishing the story, the things that he said, those were great things to hear. I was baffled that he made Paul Heyman cry. Like at first, I'm like any wrestling fan. I watch it, I take it for like it being what it is, storyline. But when different sites started talking about it, that that caught Paul Heyman off guard as the things that Cody said, and he cried, and that was a real tearjerker for Paul Heyman. I was like, oh shit, like hey, it is what it is. I did, and I guess I didn't broadcast that very well because not a lot of people gravitated towards it, so I just stopped doing it. But B Tech reviews also likes wrestling as much or probably more than I do. Like he probably knows a lot more than I do. So because B Tech reviews, I don't know if you guys know this, but he had a radio show in his hometown with his friends, podcast, and a live radio airtime wrestling show where they talked about wrestling. Because I used to watch their live streams. He used to live stream on his YouTube channel when him and his friends were on their radio show, and I enjoyed that. They don't do it anymore. I haven't seen them do it in a while, but he's talking about doing a wrestling podcast with Mill Hustles, me and him. So if Mike builds the channel, that's where I'll be. That's where whether it's just me and him or me, him, and Mill Hustles or other people join in. But I would love to do like a wrestling podcast thing because yeah, I like wrestling, and people can tell me like it's fake. I know it's fake. I mean, the storylines are fake. The punches are real. The bumps they take, that shit hurts. I mean, you're not gonna tell me you're gonna swanton bomb off a ladder onto another ladder and not feel back pain. These. I remember when Paul White was talking about when he first came to WWE and Stone Cold was telling him to really hit him because I guess in WCW they pull their punches. Stone Cold's like, I want you to hit me. So when Paul White actually hit him, like Austin gave him that approval, like welcome to the WWF. I mean, yeah, the stuff they do is not fake. Storylines are fake. Taz has ridiculous wrestling and submission game. Yeah, and they never use them, right, Brian? They never use him. And like Vince has that bad habit. And like I'm really, really sad that Vince is in control of the company again right now. I am sad that Stephanie is left the company. Like she left. She retired. Her tweet she sent out to everybody, thanking everybody for years of support and everything. That was heartbreaking for me. Because I liked the direction that they were going. Like I did feel that they kind of screwed the pooch with Bray Wyatt because they drug out I mean he came back at what Extreme Rules was it? He showed up. So we got Bray Wyatt back. I like this new angle with the Wyatt Six, right? So, Uncle Howdy and whoever is going to start playing people. Like, I mean, they're already targeting Alexa Bliss to bring her back. But they waited till the Royal Rumble for Bray to get back in ring. I like the idea of his new outfit, right? Like, I mean, the Fiend's mask is always going to be like awesome in my opinion. I will never say that he shouldn't ever put that mask back on because I thought that mask was amazing. But his concept, because like he came to the ring, I already knew something was up at the Royal Rumble when he came to the ring. By the way, if you didn't know, currently right now Bray Wyatt's my favorite wrestler. I like this dark, demented, these hills have eyes, redneck, creepy shit. But like he came to the ring, I seen he had like a dark circles around his eyes. So I'm like, okay, he has to have face paint on. And then when they kicked on the black lights for the dark match, you seen the pattern glow off his face, and it's like that's a good concept. He's always portrayed himself as two different personalities. But why not be staring at the monster dead in its face all this time without knowing that you're staring at the monster dead in its face? But of course, it wouldn't work all the time because then that means that every Bray Wyatt match would have to be using black lights to make his face glow. But I thought his return, in-ring return, Royal Rumble was pretty, but that was a good concept for the mask. But then he had another mask inside of the toolbox. And what he did to LA Knight, you know, putting him in the mandible claw and making him pass out, and then Uncle Howdy showing up at the top, and then, elbow dropping him from the top. That was okay. But I just felt like they kind of screwed the pooch with Bray Wyatt because they drug it out too long. Honestly, I think they should have began at Extreme Rules, giving little vignettes that Bray Wyatt was coming back, but not have him physically return yet, and allow it to go through. If they wanted his return to be at Royal Rumble, start having him physically return near Royal Rumble instead of him coming out and doing these promos and saying he's trying to change. People just lost interest pretty quickly. We're the ADHD era, so we can't really. You got to do something on the scale of the Bloodline storyline to keep people interested. Yeah, because honestly, when you really think about it, it does not make sense for Bray to go after Lashley. Like his return is good. I would really love for like Bray Wyatt to be a face, but like his other personality to be a heel, and would love to see his heel wrestle more. Bray Wyatt's better as a heel. You know, fans gravitated more to Bray Wyatt when he was a heel that was liked by the fans, right? Like, remember when the Wyatts had a face off with the Shield? The Wyatts were a heel faction, but they had reaction from the fans that connected with him. Him going against Bobby Lashley does not make sense at this time. He just came back. I would rather see him feud with, Killer Cross or Karrion Cross, whatever name he goes by. I would like to see him feud with him. I would like who else do I want to see him feud with? I would like to see him actually build on the Wyatt Six. And I would love to see a faction standoff between the Wyatt Six and the Bloodline at some point. Like a teaser, not really build a story to it, but a teaser to it to get the crowd's reaction. I would love to see that. Um, Hell, I would love to see a feud between the Judgment Day and the Wyatt Six. Maybe he should start targeting Damian Priest. Maybe he should start targeting, Finn Balor again. Um, Bobby Lashley it doesn't make sense because Bobby is promoted as a powerhouse former MMA fighter. Brock Lesnar is a powerhouse former MMA fighter. Their match seemed fine, but it also seems like their matches, their story is left unfinished. I mean, what we got with the low blow kick to Bobby Lashley's nuts, and then that was it. Yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. I'm not feeling the Bray Wyatt Bobby Lashley story angle. I'm gonna watch the match just because I like Bray Wyatt as a character, but I'm not like this is the greatest match of all time or this is gonna be the greatest match of all time. Like no. Personally, I would love to see Bray Wyatt feud with Roman Reigns again. Like strip out the Wyatt Six, strip out the Bloodline, and just have Bray and Roman just feud. But anyways, guys, wow, we've been on for like 2.5 hours, so I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the feedback. If you guys want more wrestling talk, I will bring that to this channel if I do solo streams. If when Mike builds a podcast channel and we can link up on a time where that fits for all of us to be able to be together, I'll let you know. You'll know the channel. You'll know where to go. You'll see me on there. Yeah, almost 3 hours. The wrestling thing got me going, right? So I'm probably gonna have to timestamp it so people can see what was said in this live stream and let them know the beginnings of what I was talking about and where the wrestling stuff talks about, where the regular chit chat, of my parental things I do, where that starts. So I'm gonna have to timestamp those. But I love you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Shout out for the 22 likes. You guys are amazing. That helps circulate it. That helps other people discover my channel, and that helps find new people, more people to engage with, and have these types of live streams and talks. Um, but yeah, this is the last live stream for the week because I'm taking a small little vacay with my family here tomorrow, actually. So wherever I'm at, I'm gonna live stream, but it's gonna be about where I'm at. It's not gonna be about Boost Infinite and stuff like that. And I really shout out to a lot of you guys that come in for the Boost Infinite, Boost Mobile news and stuff like that. I try to give you guys as much as I can, and try to give you guys as much help as I can. Um, and hopefully, in the beginning of this live stream, what I said to that one person who commented, Stringer News One, hopefully that clarifies with you what I went through and what people are going through and why all this is happening and why the cyber attack affects what's happening currently. Hopefully that is clear. If it's not clear, please let me know, and maybe I'll try to find a better way to explain and word it. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your day. I love you guys very much. Be safe out there, and as always, aloha.